Good afternoon. Myself, Professor Abdul Halim Shaikh, Assistant Professor in the Department of English, Jyotindra Rajendra Mahavidyalaya in the district of Murshidabad from West Bengal State. In today's class, let's discuss a poet who said, I have left no immortal work behind me, nothing to make my friends proud of my memory. But I have loved the principles of beauty in all things. If I had had time, I would have made myself remembered. My dear students, can you guess whom I am talking about? He also said that beauty is truth, truth, beauty. And the thing of beauty is a joy forever. And this poet lived a briefest life. He died at the age of 25 in the city of Rome on 23rd February of 1821. And on the grave, there's an epitaph. Here lies one whose name was written water. Yes, I hope all of you already understood the poet is John Keats. I'm talking about the last and the loveliest, the youngest romantic poet, the second generation great romantic poet who is present in this present situation is the most studied and most admired British romantic poet. John Keats was born in the year of 1795 and he died in the year of 1821. So he lived just for 25 years. And in this age, he has left behind a great body of works and immortal works. He was afraid. He feared that he would be forgotten after his death. But it didn't happen. It happened that he became gradually became famous, immensely popular throughout the world to the reading public. John Keats is much loved poet for his romanticism, for his love for nature, for his sensuousness, for his sensitivity, and for his great and gorgeous description of nature and human passion. Particularly, his poem is noted for its sensuousness, for its Hellenism, and for his a longing for immortality, his keen sense of human mortality, and his profound sense of love and commitment to the world of the men. And he loved man, he loved nature, a genuine voice of poetry. So let's talk about the poem Ode to a Nightingale. This poem was written in the year of 1819, and the time when he wrote a series of odes, and chiefly his fame rests on the fame and glory rests on these odes: Ode on a Grecian, and Ode to Psyche, Ode Ode to Autumn, and Ode to a Nightingale. In today's class, let's discuss about the poem Ode to a Nightingale. The poem is divided into 8 stanzas, and each stanza consists of 10 lines. And the chief subject of the poem, is here in this poem, John Keats is addressing a nightingale, a songbird, very passionately. In the season of summer, the nightingale was singing rapturously, and really the poem was written on Hampstead and on an original bird. In one morning, he listened to the song of the nightingale, and he was profoundly influenced by the song of it. And he went to the tree, listened to the song for a few moments, and he wrote down the poem instantly on the piece of paper. That was the incident that shaped his mind about the poem. And in this poem, Ode to a Nightingale, John Keats chiefly deals with the conflicts between the real world and the imaginary world, the conflicts between pain and joy, conflicts between the permanence and change, and the conflicts between the actual and the unreal, imaginary. And here in this poem, Nightingale represents the world of the idealized beauty, and the poet, he is a member of the mundane world, the world which is mutable and which is subject to death, decay, and changes. The poem is also noted for its Hellenism. Though John Keats was not a classical scholar, yet his poem is replete with references to the classical mythology, and is very much sensuous. And there is also debate over the poem, the subject of escapism, that the poet wishes to escape into the world of the nightingale because he is exhausted and he is upset with the mortality, with the death, the diseases. And it is already a very noted fact that John Keats was a physician. He was trained as a doctor, but he discarded the profession of a doctor, falling in love in poetry. And he saw his own brother died of tuberculosis, and he treated him, but he couldn't help it. At that time, tuberculosis was untreatable. People died. One who is afflicted with the disease. So himself, Keats, was already afflicted with the disease, and he got the death warrant already. He coughed blood, and he knew that his time is already limited. Death is knocking at the door. So the time when he wrote this poem, Ode to a Nightingale, in the year of 1819, and he died in the February month of 1821. So already he was under the pain, the awakening, the consciousness of death was haunting him. He was haunted by the fear of, by the imminent death. So in this poem, he craves for the mortality, the wish to live a longer, and particularly his artistic desire to be remembered, to be loved. But this world is the place where man is subject to death and decay. But he addresses the nightingale, the songbird, which sings beautifully, joyfully. So the poem begins with the line, "My heart aches, and a drowsy numbness pains my sense, as though hemlock I had drunk, or emptied some dull opiate to the dregs on me past, and little words are sunk." It's not true envy of the happy lot, but being too happy in thine happiness, that thou, lightning dried of the trees, in some melodious plot of beech and green, and singest of summer in full throated ease. So in the first stanza, the very first words, "My heart aches," the aching feelings of the poet is caused by the excessive joy of the nightingale, joy over a nightingale's happiness. The poet made it very explicit that he is feeling a sensation of pain at his heart. It is not because of the envy, it is not because of the jealousy, but for the excessive joy. The poet immediately feels the sense of numbness,